Today's class, which is I'm calling expanding brackets 2, so we're kind of moving up in difficulty here. Before I start, just want to say sorry. This is very late. I spent the whole morning trying to sort out Teams. Hopefully get all these little bits out of the way this week, and it'll be easier next week. Anyway, so we've kind of discussed this already a little bit. This is the concept of multiplying distributively. So hopefully you remember that word. So multiplying distributively means that you distribute the number outside the bracket to everything in the bracket. Okay, so if I had like a 3 and then in the bracket I had like an X, a Y and a Z, for example, I would have to take that 3 and distribute it across the bracket. So I would have to multiply it with the X, I would have to multiply it with the Y, and I would have to multiply it with the Z. It has to get distributed across the bracket. So everything in the bracket gets a little bit of the 3, okay? You can't just multiply the 3 by the X and be done with it, okay? That 3 needs to be distributed across the whole bracket, okay? So just looking at keywords again, the question is asked, remove the brackets and simplify. And it does, I said this to you the other day, it didn't kind of say it the other day, but I mentioned it in the last video. The same question may be phrased as expand the brackets and simplify. So we spoke about expand as a keyword the other day. All right, so just to highlight that, so remove the brackets and simplify. You might see the word multiply in it, like multiply the brackets and simplify, or expand the brackets and simplify. Okay, so it's kind of 3 ways of asking the same thing. Okay, so let's have a go. So A, it's 2 bracket X plus 4. So we need to take that 2 and we need to multiply by the X, and the 2 also needs to get multiplied by the plus 4. Okay, so 2 multiplied by X, when you multiply a number by a letter, you simply write them side by side. So 2 multiplied by X is just 2X. And then 2 multiplied by plus 4. Okay, so this is a plus 2. This is a plus 4. So the plus multiplied by the plus, signs are the same. It's a plus. And then 2 times 4 is 8. And that's the answer to the first one. Okay, we can't, I know the question says here to simplify it. We can't simplify it anymore because they're not in the same family. If I were doing families, this is an X and this has no X. So they're not in the same family. They can't be added together. So we are done. It is simplified. Okay, so B. What's B? B is 3 bracket 4A minus 3. Alright, so again we need to take this 3, we need to multiply it by the 4A, and we need to multiply it by the minus 3. So 3 multiplied by 4A. So like in the questions you did the other day, you can do the signs first. So this is a plus and this is a plus, which means the answer is a plus. Fine. Numbers next. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then letters, so there's no letter on the 3, and there is a letter with the 4, so all we have is A. Okay, the next multiplication, which is the 3 with the minus 3, we have a plus here and a minus here. So we're multiplying a plus 3 by a minus 3. Plus by minus are different signs, which means we'll get a minus answer. And then 3 by 3 is 9. And again, this 12 has an A on it, so it's in the A family. This 9 has nothing, so it's in the constant family. So they are in 2 different families, so we can't simplify anymore. Okay, moving on to C. We have a minus 2, and we're going to multiply that by 4y minus 1. Okay, so we are going to, I might try the highlighter. We're going to start with the minus 2, and we're going to multiply it by the 4y. So let's have a look at signs and everything. So there's clearly a minus here, and there's nothing there, so it has to be a plus. So the signs are different, which means minus. Numbers, 2 times 4 is 8. Letters, there's no letter on the 2. There's a Y here on the 4, so just Y. That's the first multiplication. Second multiplication then is you take the minus 2 again, but this time you multiply it by the minus 1. So let's look at the signs first. Minus and minus, so if we're multiplying 2 minuses, signs are the same. The answer is a plus. The numbers, 2 times 1 is 2. And we have no letter on the 2, we have no letter on the 1, so it's just plus 2. And looking at the families, this family is the Y family. This one is again a constant, so they can't be added together or subtracted, so they can't be simplified anymore. So D, okay, this is starting to get more interesting. So we have 5 bracket 2a minus b minus 3 bracket a minus 2. Okay, now this 5 needs to be distributed across this bracket. Okay, and then this minus 3 needs to be distributed across this bracket. Okay, so the 5 is multiplied by that first bracket, and the 5's influence stops with the bracket. And then you sort of move on to the second half of the question, where the minus 3 has been multiplied by the bracket, and they're sort of kept separate. And we will have to simplify at the end, but they're separate, okay? So because the 5 is attached to this first bracket, you will distribute the 5 across the, oh, don't do that, sorry, let me just undo that and change my colour. So you will distribute the 5 across the 2a and across the minus b. Then you will stop with the 5. 5 is done. Then you move on to the minus 3 and distribute it across the a and the minus 2. Okay? So let's do it. So we have a plus here and a plus here, so signs are the same, which means the answer will be a plus, which I'm not going to write. 5 times 2 is 10. The 5 doesn't have a letter. The 2 does. It's an a, so we're just going to put down a. Second multiplication then is pairing up the 5 with the minus, is that a b? Yeah, with the minus b. So we have a plus here and a minus here, which means signs are different, so minus. Now, multiplying the numbers, okay? We have a 5 here and we have no number here. So no number, remember, means an invisible 1. Okay? So 5 times 1 is 5. We have no letter on the 5, but we do have a letter here, so it's simply just b. Now that's the, let's call it the yellow multiplication, done. So forget about all that and just move over to the pink multiplication. So we start again, we have minus 3, now here. So there's no sign, which means it's definitely a plus, so put that in. There's no number, so we have an invisible 1, which I'm going to put in there. Now, minus and plus are different signs, so the answer is a minus. 3 times 1 is 3, and the only letter is a. The second multiplication in this bracket is the minus 3 with the minus 2. So we have a minus and a minus, so the sign's the same, which means the answer is a plus. We have 3 multiplied by 2, which makes 6, and there's no letter with the 3, and there's no letter with the 2, which means we'll have no letter down here. Okay, now the question asked us to simplify, and up until now we've had no similar families. Okay, so if you look here, sorry, try to keep the colours different. There's 10a. Is there another bit of the A family? Yes, there is. Here is a bit of the A family. Okay, then we have a B family. Is there any more B families? No. And then we have the 6, which has no letter, so it's a constant. Okay, so if you do 10a minus 3a, we do the 10, take away the 3 is 7, and that subtraction was from the A family. The B family has nothing to go with it, so you just write it as it is, and the constant family has nothing, so you just write it as it is. And now we've gotten to a point where these are all 3 different families, so they cannot be further simplified. All right, and then the last one, sorry, I'll do a bit scrolling up and down here, x plus y minus 1. So 2 times x plus y minus 1, and minus 4 times 2x plus 2y plus 1. 2x plus 2y plus 1. Do that right? Yeah. Okay, so again, this 2 will be distributed across this bracket, and then you will stop with the 2. You will then move on to the minus 4, and you'll distribute it across that bracket. Okay, because there are 3 things in the bracket, there's 3 terms, we call them, in the brackets, it's going to require 1, 2, 3 multiplications. There's 3 terms in this bracket, so 1, 2, 3 multiplications. Remember that the number outside must be distributed across every term in the bracket. So if there's 3 terms in the bracket, that's going to be 3 multiplications. Okay, so let's go back. Now, we have a plus here, and we have a plus here, which means plus down here. I'm not going to write it. We have a 2. Now we've no number, so we stick in our invisible 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. We've no letter on the 2, but we do have an x here, so we just put in the x. Okay, second multiplication. The second multiplication is the 2 and the y. So plus and plus, signs are the same, plus answer. We have a 2 here, we've no number, so throw in your invisible 1. It's now 2 times 1, which is 2. We've no letter here, but we do have a y here, so you put your y in. Now the next multiplication is the 2 again, but this time with the minus 1. So signs, plus minus is minus. 2 times 1 is 2, and we have no letter here and no letter here, so we're done. Now we have reached the end of that bracket, which means we've reached the end of the yellow multiplication. So we're going to move over now to the pink multiplication. Okay, so we start with the minus 4 and the 2. So there's a plus here. Signs are different, so minus. 4 times 2 is 8. We've no letter here, we've an x here, so just x. Second multiplication then is the minus 4 with the second bit of the bracket. So we have a minus here and a plus here, different signs give us a minus. 4 times 2 is 8. No letter, the letter here is y, so we put down our y. Last multiplication then is your minus 4, and this time with the 1. So a minus and a plus is different, so a minus answer. 4 times 1 is 4, and no letter with the 4, no letter with the 1, so no letter with the answer. Now we have to look and see if simplification is required. So I have an x. Do I have another one? I do. I have a y. Do I have another one? Yep. And I have a constant, and I have a second constant. Okay, so good few from the same family here. So the x's, 2 take away 8. So 2 minus 8 is minus 6, and that was the subtraction from the x family. Now move on to the y family. Again, it is 2 take away 8, so that's minus 6 again, but this time that's the y family. And then the constants is minus 2, minus 4, which is minus 6. And now we have an x family, a y family, and a constant family, so they're all different families, so they can't be combined. Okay, so there's a lot there. Like I said, have a good kind of listen to that, pause it as you need, and take these notes down. I know I have excessive use of colour here, but it does help. Being able to separate one bracket from another is very, very important skill. And then being able to simplify, which I know we've practiced before, but now we're coupling that skill with kind of some of the other skills that we've learned. All right, so your assignment will follow, your homework assignment, and let me know if there's any major issues. All right, have a good day.